this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
There's nothing to get wet about anyway.
Untrue, Lilith Hellfire, because it's the start of Namor-vember for someone's birthday month here on Marvel Tales. Imperious Rex his bed indeed. I am Phil, and joining me, as always, Namor's number one fan. It is.
That's right, Justin the Owl, out of the depths and into my heart. Namor-vember.
Heart, more like heart on. Anyway, that's right, kids. We're going to cover the first three issues of Namor the Submariner by Mr. John Byrne himself.
Yes. Yep.
So,
yeah. Did you collect this when this came out?
I was kind of off and on this, but yeah, I wasn't reading it on a regular basis. I'm sure you were.
Oh yes. Well, John Byrne had become my favorite artist kind of early on.
Yeah, he
was. The Uncanny X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, and then Superman in the '80s, and then She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was that string of things that made him my favorite. And so after that, I pretty much followed his stuff wherever he went. Oh, and Avengers West Coast too. There was that stint that he did with there. So there were all these times that he appeared that I really enjoyed for the most part. I didn't enjoy all of it, but for the most part, I really, really liked his stuff. And so when I saw that he was doing Namor, I was really excited. And at the time, like, Namor wasn't really that big of a deal to me as a character, because the stuff that I had read of him in the 80s, like, was very kind of hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, besides the miniseries that you and I are going to talk about later in the month, a lot of the Namor in the 80s was kind of a mess. And so at this point in time, like, he was kind of off my radar, and I didn't really know about a lot of the stuff that he was up to. So this was an all new direction for me too, as a Namor, kind of like a new unseasoned Namor fan. But this series did it. It definitely did. It made me a huge fan of this character.
And, I mean, we're not going to get to it this month, but how did you feel about his run, like, on the Avengers in the 80s?
I really liked that, yeah. When he was just writing it?
No, when Namor was part of the Avengers.
When Namor was... Yeah. I actually liked that. At first, I thought it was kind of weird, because it seemed like the Defenders was a better place for him, comparatively.
Mm-hmm.
But... he had his old pal Captain America there, and, like, you know, he seemed to have a good rapport with most of the other people on the team. And yeah, it took me a little bit to get used to it when he joined the Avengers, but then after that, especially when they had the Hydro base, it made perfect sense.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Absolutely.
And two, I think it was a lot of drama. Be like, oh, this guy has been at odds with humanity like half his career, and all of a sudden he's going to be on the Avengers.
Yeah, yeah. And he happened to be on the team when some really crazy stuff was happening with the super adaptoid and all the heavy metal and all that. Yeah, it was wild. I love that. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And the whole when Zeus went crazy after what happened to Hercules and came down and started thrashing the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was some great stuff. We'll cover that sometime.
Oh yeah, they'll do all that. The Siege of Avengers Mansion and the Zeus stuff. Yeah,
classic. Yeah.
You know what else? I saw something that reminded me the other day. You know what else we got? That issue with Thor when Steve picks up the hammer for the first time.
Yes, Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't think that, for some reason, I don't think that got as much play as it, now, of course, it's like, oh, it was in a movie.
Yeah. Back then it was kind of a big deal. I remember in the letters pages after the fact, I think people were writing in about that and thinking it was amazing.
Oh, I saw something. I saw something on Ron Friends' Facebook page where, like, They were trying to figure out if he was trying to make up some. He was doing some sketches of like an Asgardian look for Cap, thinking like, oh, if he picks up the hammer, should he transform and stuff? But
yeah,
I guess they decided not to have his outer look transform or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think that's for the best. Yeah, yeah, because it wasn't like he was like invoking the power of Odin or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he was just
picking it up and swinging it. He wasn't like doing the whole thing that Thor does. Yeah.
All right. So should we get to these issues?
Yes.
Was able to man it. It grabs the covers here. So.
Oh, nice.
All right. So yeah, Namor the Sun. And again, the kids, this is a nice little follow up to Atlantis attacks too.
That's true. This happens a few months after that.
Look
at that.
So good. All right, so Namor the Submariner #1 from April 1990. That's the other thing about why I wasn't getting this on a regular, because I got still like a victim, or I was a victim. I'm still at the mercy of like the newsstand and the spinner racks.
Oh, true.
I hadn't found like a comic shop yet, so.
Yeah, and there were several in this run that I missed. Like I was able to get, I think, all of them up to number 14. And then, like, it started getting, like, they weren't getting as many copies of them at the store. So,
yeah,
I had bits and pieces missing from my collection for a while.
It was always like, if it wasn't like Spider-Man or somebody, the bigger the name, the more copies they might order. But otherwise, yeah,
Batman,
like,
Superman, just the big names. Yeah,
Batman, my favorite character.
Yeah.
All right. April 1990. Purpose. Of course, writer and penciler John Byrne. Inker Bob Wycheck. Colorist Glennis Oliver. Letterer Ken Lopez. And editor Terry Cavanaugh. Boy, you really have the hots for a guy with no nipples, huh? That's not color.
Well, in the water, does he really need them? I mean, it's evolution.
Do we need them? Well, we have them. I don't know.
I know. So some people might argue that we do need them, but I'm ambivalent.
I mean, unless you're a woman, do you really need them?
Yeah.
All right. So, biologists Carrie and Caleb Alexander come across a seriously disoriented Namor. Fortunately, Namor has been a pet project of Caleb Alexander ever since Namor saved his life as a kid. Namor learns that his past personality fluctuations have been caused by an oxygen imbalance in his blood due to his hybrid human Atlantean makeup, and Caleb has devised a recycling device to correct the problem. Namor decides to change the direction of his life. Using the vast wealth of sunken treasure, he launches a new company called Oracle Incorporated, which draws the attention of the power-hungry Mars twins. All right.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Well, I love how this is separated into different story chapters, which is something that John Byrne does a lot of.
Yeah.
But I like how the pacing of this issue is really interesting. It's really cool. I like how we learn about Caleb's connection to Namor later on in the issue.
Yeah, it's so funny because this guy's like an older guy, and he's like, "Oh, you saved me as a kid and stuff."
Yeah, and he looked exactly the same. Yeah, I thought that was great. He was just kind of, riding along on this bicycle, staring at this flying dude and not paying attention where he was going and flying off the dock. And he would have drowned, if it hadn't been for Namor. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And then just the nonchalant way at the end that Namor comes up with this chest full of, like, gold and jewels and like ancient pirate treasure and stuff at the bottom of the ocean. He's just like, yeah, here's a couple $1 million worth of, whatever. I'm gonna just buy a company and start doing this stuff. I love it. I thought it was great. We get some classic Namor stuff in the beginning when he's freaking out. And he goes down to
the 2-page splash at the beginning.
Yes. But also his behavior after that, when he goes to the island and the natives there have this like airplane mock-up in their village. He starts trash talking. He's like, "Look at this cheap mockery," or something like that. What does he say? he's trash talking their handiwork. He says, "First, I shall dispose of this preposterous icon." He says as he smashes his way through it, and then, I mean, that's classic Namor stuff right there. Just the whole preposterous icon stuff. The rest of the villagers flee before my power. Well, they should. Let no surface dweller dare show his face, but that Namor commands it. And he lifts this column of this big iconic column out of the middle of their village and starts swinging it around. Run, run! I mean, that's classic Namor from back in the '60s when he was a little off. Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of Avengers #4 when they're worshiping the frozen Captain America, and he is just like,
yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so that to me was perfect. It was a perfect callback to his just how he used to be back in the '60s when he came back. So I loved that, and I loved that John Byrne's explanation for his mood swings. That he has, it actually made sense. Yeah, that he's got an oxygen imbalance. It makes total sense because of his unique physiology, having a human father and an Atlantean mother.
Yeah, so too much time in the water, or not enough time in the water. Yeah, Namor's gonna go nuts.
Yeah, and to me that made sense. That wasn't just shoehorned into this issue for the sake of it. It was it seemed to connect the dots pretty well for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of like when Caleb's like, I know this about your origin, like how your parents met. And it kind of given an origin for Namor since this is an issue 1 and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, people who weren't that familiar with him, or people that were just casual, fans like me at the time, had kind of a refresher on his origin because it had been a while since the last time I'd read it in an issue. It had been talked about.
And Namor mentions Fantastic Four Annual 1, which we'll get to as part of a group of issues on episode 100 coming up here.
Yes. The big episode 100. Just in time for my birthday month. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
A bunch of classic Namor appearances, including his first.
The first one. Wasn't that from 39?
Yeah, you could say the first Marvel comic, pretty much.
Yeah. That's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, that dialogue's going to be trippy, it is.
I know, I can't wait.
But yeah, and then the whole Caleb, when he tells Namor how he rescued him as a kid. Of course, Namor doesn't remember, but he's like, I've had unfortunate tendency to memory failure.
Yeah. I will say, though, that at the end, I was less than impressed with the Mars twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, what the hell is this? These are going to be the foil for Namor in this series? I was a little skeptical. I'll admit that. I was like, what? This dude's going to blow his brains out because he says, I'm trying to put an end to my thoroughly inconsequential and boring existence. I just thought, oh, no.
Yes, Desmond and Phoebe Mars, yes.
Yeah, oh.
But then, when she mentions, someone's bought this old company, that there wasn't much of it, but, turned it into Oracle, and, and that piques his interest. He's like, wait, what? Oh, a challenge? Oh, here we go.
And I get that he was trying to make, that John Byrne was trying to create in this character like a different version of Lex Luthor, who was like a business tycoon, but he was younger. He still had his looks. Like he had accomplished everything that he wanted to get in his life. He had no rivals. He had no enemies left. Like he had pretty much everything in the world that he could possibly want. And I understood the concept behind the character. I just thought, this is a weird adversary for Namor, this smarmy business tycoon with pretensions of grandeur. It's weird,
And I mean, we'll get to it in the next two. We'll get to it in the next two issues, but these two, I don't know, the relationship between these two seems very weird to me.
Yes, it's very Game of Thrones-esque. Yeah, there's some definite.
It seems like it.
Cersei and Jaime vibes happening here.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not judging. To each their own.
Exactly.
Whatever, but The influence is there.
All right. Should we get to the second issue?
Yes.
All right. All right. So, got Namor, the Submariner number 2.
Yeah.
God. Too much screens here. All right. Namor, the Submariner number 2, May 1990. Eagle's Wing and Lion's Claw. Writer and penciler again, John Byrne. Bob Wycheck, inker. Colors, Brad Gancata. Letterer, Ken Lopez. And editor, Terry Cavanaugh. And, of course, there's no synopsis for this one. Of course not.
Oh, well, that's okay. We can go through this one.
Oh, I'm sure you know this one off by heart. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Not for the third one either, so. All right.
Yeah, all right. That's okay. I was happy that we see right off the bat the return of the Griffin.
Yeah.
Who comes smashing through the skylight at Oracle. We were just talking about the Griffin with Russell in our episode over on
That's
X-Men
right.
Classics where we talked about the Beast.
It does get mentioned, too, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure, because I think, you were reading it at the time, West Coast Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years prior to this, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years prior to this, there was an appearance by the Griffin in there where he had kind of reverted to like a bestial mentality. He had lost his human, he had lost the capacity to even speak. And he was just kind of a beast, like a mindless beast that was rampaging around and able to be controlled by people like Headlock.
Yes.
Oh, good old Headlock. But we hadn't seen much of him after that. And I had wondered for a couple of years what happened to the Griffin. So when we saw him here in that glorious 2-page spread where he's smashing through the skylight, I thought, oh man, here we go. Here we go.
I thought, like, the beginning of this issue, Caleb and Carrie were hitting around at something, which I thought they were, and later it was confirmed, like, Namor pronouncing his love for Carrie. I'm like, when? I thought I missed an issue. I was like, wait a minute, this is number 2, right?
That they fast-tracked that real quick, didn't they? Yeah. That's a little weird. I guess there was some time that passed in between these, but...
Yeah, because they're kind of like, are they like living at the Oracle headquarters now or whatever?
Yeah. They have a suite in this massive building. Looks like the Empire State Building.
Which I get that, but I was like, wait, no, not even like a panel of Namor's telling her, oh, he loves her, like a flashback.
I know,
panel, nothing.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
But yeah, the Griffin smashes in, grabs Carrie, and takes off, and then Caleb, as he's trying to defend her, has a heart attack.
Yeah, because he's got heart issues. That was talked about in the first issue.
Yeah, that's why she's his diver now, because he can't do it himself. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Griffin takes off with Carrie. And then he manages to go in the elevator conveniently down to Namorita's apartment, because she's hanging out here. She's living in this building as well.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, she's in the gym. Yeah. Here's the Atlantean I was waiting for.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, he draws a great name, Rita, too. And I can't remember if the New Warriors had started yet.
Yeah, because I think, was it this issue? Yeah, I think it was towards the end of this issue or something. The trouble, it was either this issue or next one. She does say something, I think, about going to get the New Warriors or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which
no, because they show up at the end of issue 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
okay.
the cleanup and everything,
Yeah.
But I love Namor in his apartment or whatever, getting ready for the day, and then the news is saying, oh yeah, somebody dropped a woman's shoe and it broke someone's windshield. It must have been dropped from like 2,000 feet that have that effect. And...
yeah, curious. And in comes Namor. She's been kidnapped. Carrie's been kidnapped by some kind of flying lion creature.
Yeah, he's like, she attacked Carrie when? And she's about 10 minutes ago. And then she says about how Caleb had a heart attack. And he's like, is he properly tended to? And she's like, yeah. And he says, okay, then we focus on Carrie. So
off come the clothes, my favorite part.
Oh my! I mean, yeah, this guy's not that good at keeping a secret. Because again, most of the world thinks he's dead at this point.
Right. Yeah, from the Atlantean attack, they still believe he's dead. He hasn't revealed who the new owner of Oracle Incorporated is publicly to the world yet.
Exactly. I mean, I know you would have hated it, but how funny would it have been if like Namor was like trying to put together a superhero costume so no one recognized him?
I know, yeah.
Like a mask and everything.
A mask and covering up those ankle wings and stuff. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Well, he does have some other weird costumes that he's had over the years, as we'll see in the miniseries. He had that weird blue and yellow thing, but yeah, it's funny.
Because, here they separate, and Namor's like, I should be high enough, up enough, no one should be able to tell who I am.
Right, yeah. And this is before cell phones, so people aren't going to be taking pictures. Then he flies to the Statue of Liberty.
Yep, because just from the news report, he's like, the shoe fell, in this direction, so because him and Namor are going to split up, but he goes this way, and then he makes it to Liberty Island and finds Carrie's other shoe.
Yeah. And that's where he comes face to face with the Griffin. Yes. Battle is joined. It's a great fight between these two.
Oh yeah, because then Namor's he's like, oh, the Griffin's, he's almost mindless and as strong as the Hulk.
Yep. It will take every iota of my fighting skill to even survive this confrontation. But skill I have honed in 70 years of endless battle. It's fantastic.
But then he gets seen by a drone sent by the Mars twins.
Yep, they're spying on him with their matching outfits.
I know.
Oh man, it's so weird. Creepy. Yeah.
I love anyone who discovers this in this first 3 issues. The first thing out of their mouth is, "But he's supposed to be dead."
Right? Yeah. We used to deal with that for a little while. And also, what is this Desmond Mars smoking? Virginia Slims? Those are some thin-ass cigarettes.
I mean, are those cigarettes?
Oh, true.
I mean,
that's true. That might be. Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of my 2 resident pharmacologists. Is that a cigarette, or is that something else?
Well, I don't know.
He's a bad boy. I don't know.
That's true. Might be an ayahuasca cigarette for all we know.
Is that the Griffin on my screen, or is this shit just that good?
I can taste the colors, man.
Loth always mentions that one old Daredevil story says he can feel the colors.
Yeah, love it.
But so Phoebe's just like, if it is a Submariner, why does he want the world thinks he's dead? Why does he want the world think that he's dead? And what possible interest could he have in an old junker like the Parallel Conglomerate, which he bought and turned into Oracle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Former junker is what Desmond says.
Yes.
There's been considerable interest on the street since Parallel was bought out by Oracle. He's got this printout of all the stock stuff from Wall Street. Crazy.
He's basically just, wouldn't humanity be interested in learning, that this guy, the guy who's attacked, humankind.
Yeah, the former enemy of mankind is alive.
I mean, I guess he calls him an enemy alien. I'm like, I guess we're calling like an illegal alien. Is that what he's calling him? Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
Boy, a rich white guy who's racist. Get out of town.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we see some of his hired help later on, which checks out.
Yeah, because Phoebe's like, I think there's even a civil suit still outstanding against them. I'll call. He's like, no. Desmond's like, not yet. This
civil suit.
Yeah, I know. Namor don't care about no civil suit.
Yeah.
But,
well, we'll see a civil suit of a different kind in the 4-issue miniseries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Then we see Carrie wakes up in the torch of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. And Namor is in a death duel against the Griffin.
Oh, yeah. There's like at least, 2 pages. There's not much dialogue. It's basically just a fight scene.
I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. No dialogue. Griffin wraps that tail around Namor and throws him around with it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So good.
And then Namor's like, this is accomplishing nothing. I'm in his element in the air. He's like,
yes.
If I get him in the water.
Yep. It is not without good reason I am called the Submariner, he says.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we have a subplot number 1. Or
Yes.
subplot number 2, I should say,
Yeah,
because of the Mars twins. The introduction of Headhunter.
Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with this character.
Yeah, this is a 2-issue story that comes about, I think, in 8 and 9. Yeah. And she was interesting. She was different. I kind of liked Headhunter. She's very 1990. Yeah, but interesting. Yeah.
And then we go back to Carrie on the that Statue of Liberty. She basically has to walk all the way down because the elevator's not working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She goes down to the level where she last saw Namor and the Griffin right by the water.
Yeah, she looked down on the ground. She's like, wait a minute, where are they at? And then she sees the water bubbling and then...
and blood. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we won, but yeah, then the last page, we see the Griffin come flying out of the water.
Yeah. And she screams, no!
So, yes.
Yeah, another great issue. Great issue and a great cliffhanger ending right off the bat. Issue number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. What did you think of this one, Phil?
I liked it. Again, the Griffin, give anybody a run for their money. And
Yeah. It was implied that kind of like with the Hulk, like the less intelligent it was, the more physically powerful it was. I think that was what they talked about in that West Coast Avengers story, that its strength had increased as its intelligence had decreased.
Oh, yeah, because there's no part of it trying to hold itself back or...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this was a challenge truly fit for Namor, for somebody with his powers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Great issue. And I love the 2 subplots. Those were nicely balanced throughout the issue. I can't remember which John Byrne issue of Superman it was that we were talking about from the 80s on Electric Mullet, but I remember there was one issue where like a bunch of subplots were all just kind of like crammed into the middle or something, or towards the end of the issue, where they were all just kind of stacked up one right after the other in one big block in the issue.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Rather than kind of breaking up the you know what I mean, balancing out the flow of the issue as it's done in this.
Almost like they weren't
chunk.
originally planned. It's just like, let's just throw them in there. So we did them after the fact. Let's just throw them in there somewhere.
Right. Yeah, we're a couple of pages short, so we have to fill it with something. What are we going to do? Yeah. But this isn't that. This feels like the subplots were perfectly arranged in this issue, and they didn't hamper the flow of the story at all.
Mm-mm.
They broke it up in a way that was very organic. So.
All right, ready for number 3?
Yes. Meeting of the board.
All right. That's a funny cover. Yes, meeting of the board. All right, I'll do the credits here because there's no synopsis. All right, Namor, the Submariner, number 3, June 1990, meeting of the board. Again, Byrne writing and penciling, Bob Wycheck inker, Glennis Oliver is back as colorist, Ken Lopez letterer, editor, Terry Cavanaugh. All right, yeah, this one opens up. Headhunters on the scene in that helicopter.
Yes.
And so we see that she's on the scene when the Griffin comes out of the water.
Yeah. She's got her binoculars out. She's watching everything. And, yeah, she sees Carrie being attacked by the Griffin. Right
or so
by
she
the
thinks, yes, because the Griffin...
Or so it appears.
Plunged out of the water and, yes, face plants on the
promptly collapses, yeah.
And then Namor comes out. Carrie, all right.
The Griffin fought with all the fury and abandon of the beasts he resembles. But once I carried the battle underwater, he was out of his element. Victory came quickly.
So it's over? Over? No, I'd rather say not. So he's like, yeah, the Griffin the Griffin is not a foe I've battled in the past. There would be no reason for him to kidnap you, especially in his current near-mindless condition, so...
So he hauls away the Griffin and Carrie.
Yeah, gets her in one arm. Yeah, just grabs the Griffin with the other hand and just...
hauls him away.
You know. He's like, yeah.
And Headhunter observes. She says, my, that was the Submariner. I'm almost certain of it. The only other superhero who runs around half naked is Hercules, and he can't fly. Good point.
Submariner, but I love the other guy. But isn't he dead?
Yes. Yeah. Cute. If this is a drinking game, you'd already be half in the bag.
I know.
Yeah.
You'd be dead if you weren't
supposed to be dead.
You'd be dead if you weren't Lilith Hellfire.
Yeah.
I love. Some say, but then nobody dies forever. What is this?
Especially in Marvel.
What is this? An X-Men book?
Yeah. Well, Marvel in general now.
I know.
It's not even confined to the X-Men anymore. It's everybody.
So they're following them, but then watching Headhunter follow them are the Mars twins.
Yes. Yep. Multiple eyes on this scene.
And I was trying to see that first panel of them. I don't know. That's a weird. I don't know.
She's
almost like draped
cozy.
over his shoulder. I'm like, yeah.
She's very cozy, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's very Cersei and Jamie. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on here. And this was like 20 years before all that even stuff happened. Maybe this influenced that. Oh my God. Ugh.
So it's basically a one-page recap. The Mars twins basically recap and stuff. Yeah.
Which ends with, I'm glad you returned from Hong Kong in time to prevent me from killing myself, dear Phoebe. Desmond says.
Not that he's any mentally better. It's basically just like, oh, there's a new challenge. I'm glad you didn't kill myself.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like he progressed or evolved as a human being. He has somebody new that he wants to screw over.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah.
Then we see Namorita meet Carrie at the hospital. I love it. Yeah, she got the long blonde wig on, the glasses.
Yes.
And how do you cover up ankle wings? High tops.
That's right. She's still showing off those legs, though.
That's right. Well, she said,
Go,
again, that's next episode, but when they go to that party, she's just like, I know what. She's like, these legs have been built up after years of swimming. She's like, I showed them off.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Amen, sister.
That's right. We want eye candy for everybody in this.
That's the thing. Yeah, John Byrne, man, he gives eye candy to everybody.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
So, so Namorita's basically comforting Carrie, and then she gets going to see her father.
Yeah, because Caleb's in the hospital. Yeah, he's not doing well at all.
And then we later see Namorita flying back to Namor, and he's basically going over the Avengers' vows on the Griffin, like you mentioned. Yeah, he does read that report from the Beast when the Beast fought him in Amazing Adventures.
Yeah,
because we see a little angel flying in the corner there.
Yeah, we got a little shirtless angel in the background. Oh, bless him. Yep.
And he's like,
that was great. A little recap, and then they talk about how Roxxon were the ones behind the Griffin initially,
because it was Brand, and then Brand's an offshoot, a subsidiary of Roxxon.
Right.
So Namor thinks maybe Roxxon's after him, whether they didn't think he's alive or they're just attacking Oracle. But I believe it's time his hand to turn the tables on them, and who better to do so than the erstwhile avenging son of Atlantis?
That's right.
And then Namorita's like, well, you haven't even asked about Caleb. And he's like, should I? Your first words upon your return were not an announcement of his improvement or death. I presume his condition is unchanged.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I love about Namor. He's like Spock. He's just so logical. Like you're expecting something from Namor that he's not going to give you. You have to. I love that. I love that whole interaction. Aren't you going to ask about Professor Alexander? Should I? I love it. It's great. It's so true to his character. He's not the typical superhero.
And because she's like, the doctors say any change come in the next 12 to 24 hours. He's like, good. I expect I will be done with my business by then.
Yeah. Let me know if anything changes. Yeah. And then we get subplot number 3 here.
Oh yeah, with that super tanker, which will
giant tanker.
That'll be a subplot for next episode.
Yes. Yeah. We'll cover that whole story in the next one. Yep, already setting it up here, though. And then we get a great interaction between Namor and the Griffin.
Yeah, because he has him locked in this warehouse.
Yeah.
Basically gets in the cage with the Griffin, and it just Just like beats him.
Beats him, slaps him in the face.
Oh no! Well, yeah. First, after he punches him, then he like smacks him on the nose like he's a dog or something.
Yeah. He says, "I can see the mindless fury seething in your eyes, Griffin. In your present state, you are no more than a beast. As a beast, you shall be treated."
Yeah, 'cause he's like now he's on his back. He's like trying to break him like a wild horse or something.
Yeah. You're going to learn the first law of wild things, Griffin. You may have power. You may even be stronger than I. But the key to mastery lies not in simple brute strength, but rather in what is done with it.
I'm worried. So I'm like, this is so weird. This used to be a human being.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, not that Justin would mind this treatment from Namor, but I mean,
I'll put on that Griffin costume if I have to.
Oh my!
Oh, I'll do what I have to do.
Uh,
Yeah, and I mean, we saw the Griffin's first appearance like just last month, so yeah, he was a totally different character then. Here, there's like he can't even enunciate. He can't even speak.
no, his mind is basically gone. He's
Yeah.
basically an animal. Yeah.
Yeah, and that only took 10 years or so. When was it? What year was that? Beast.
Oh, was
Story?
that like
Wasn't
in
it
the
70?
Yeah, was that early 70s? Well, let me see.
Oh, okay, so maybe it was more closer to 20 years, but the evolution of the Griffin was an interesting one over the decades.
Oh yeah. And again, it's not like he's appearing every month, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although we do see him regularly in this book for a while. It's interesting. It's interesting what they do with him.
Yeah, because then Namor directs him over to the Roxxon headquarters there in that splash page.
Yep, we get a lovely view of Roxxon headquarters.
And as the title suggests, there's a board meeting going on.
Yeah, and it looks like it's like midnight. What are they doing having a board meeting at midnight? I guess it really is Roxxon.
Evil corporations. You're not meeting in the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, Namor comes crashing in. Pretty much what you see on the cover there.
Yes. Yep. Flee like the puny cowards you are.
But not you. No.
Yeah. Why did Roxxon send the Griffin to kidnap Carrie Alexander? Was it to lure me out of hiding? Are you only pretending surprise at my resurrection? Yeah, I love it. They have no clue what's going on.
Yeah, no.
These Roxxon people have no clue.
I love Great Neptune's Trident. The endless duplicity of humans astounds me even after so many years among them. Confronted with your schemes, you continue to play act, and posture.
Yeah, I know. I love that they're actually telling the truth and he doesn't believe them. So instead, he decides to take off and leave the Griffin there with these people in this boardroom. It's fantastic.
So again,
just like I was saying, he's not the typical superhero. He's not going to do the typical things that you expect from Captain America or Thor or whatever.
I mean, the Griffin could have slaughtered everybody in this room, and then meanwhile, they weren't even behind this.
I know. And he doesn't care. He's not bothered. Oh, I love it.
Then I love when he goes to the hospital and the nurse is like, "Hey, you can't come in here dressed like that."
Yeah.
Hey, are you listening?
Are you
And
listening to me? He gives
her
her the stink eye. She's like, oh.
Then he sees Namorita and she's like, "What are you doing? Everyone will see you." And he's like, "That's a little consequence. Half the board of Roxxon saw me this evening."
Yeah. That was Caleb. And he's going to be okay. He did pull through the worst of it. So that's good.
So, but he's talking to Carrie, and she's like, he tells her, why don't you go back to work, I'll get some sleep. And she's like, "No, I can't do that. Can't stay there any longer. Dad and I always be at hazard." So, basically, it's just like, no, we can't get into a relationship. But but meanwhile, it's like, we haven't even really seen a relationship. We didn't even see the scene where he said he loved her. I mean, we kind of crowbarred this subplot.
Yeah. I know. That's my real only complaint about this, is this weird romance that's implied between Carrie and Namor. I would have much rather had seen it develop over the course of the first, 6, 7, or 8 issues of this series, rather than have it be something that happened in between issue number 1 and 2, and we don't get to see any of it. It doesn't make sense to
No,
me.
I mean, I don't think we would see them hold hands. Nothing. I mean, we went from issue 1 on that boat to issue 2. Beginning issue 2, she's kidnapped by the Griffin. It's like we haven't seen these two really even interact that much.
Yeah, I get it. That if it's something like the acquisition of Parallel into Oracle, like we don't need to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an important story beat that has a lot of consequence to happen later on in the series, we should see more detail about it. It's really my only complaint. I don't get why he chose to do it that way. I guess maybe to give Namor more of a reason to be involved with these two, rather than have them just be, the people that helped him in his time of need in issue number 1 when he's freaking out. I don't know. It's really strange.
It seemed like it was just thrown in there to be like, we're going to do a big breakup scene. Well, it's like, really? It seemed like you did much dating.
Yeah. Yeah, this should have happened much later on in the series, in my opinion. It's so weird. I don't get it. And then the last page, we go back to the Mars twins again, and look at Desmond holding on to Phoebe in that one panel.
Oh, yeah, his arms around her. I'm like, that's what I was just like.
Oof.
I mean, is it an ego thing? Because she, like, I don't know, she looks like a female version of him. So he's so in love with himself. He's just like,
I mean, even their hair is styled exactly the same. Is
it just a weird ego incest thing where he's just like, this is the closest I can get to having sex with myself?
Exactly. It's a female version of me. Yeah. Oh man.
But of course, their drone picked this up too. The big breakup, and he's like,
Well, this dialogue too, like when in that panel when he's holding her, he says, "Who in all the world is more beautiful than my own twin sister?" And Phoebe's like, "Des, you don't." And then he says, "No hesitancy now, Phoebe. I know full well the power of your charms." Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, that was the creepy dialogue where he's like, "I know full well the power of your charms." It's like, oh God, yeah, that's kind of creepy. He's feeling his sister's charms.
Yeah, and she's not into it. Like she is creeped out. You can tell. I mean, that's not Cersei and Jaime vibes at all, because Cersei was all into that. No, Phoebe is not a willing participant in whatever nonsense is happening here.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to get worse next episode too.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. This Desmond's a definite piece of crap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he mistreats her horribly. Phoebe becomes an interesting character later on. John Byrne develops her a lot more, and she becomes. We see more about her and her kid. Like, it's really cool. It's really cool how we see her character develop more. But I remember being skeptical, like I was saying in the beginning. I was like, what is going on with these two? Like, is this really the nemesis for Namor? Like, this pair of twins here? It gave me... It also gave me vibes of the Von Strucker twins, like those nasty twins that were out shooting lions in Africa and stuff. I hated those two pieces of crap. And so I had that association in my mind of the crappy evil twins. Like, oh, it's not another one of those, is it? I hope. Thankfully, we didn't necessarily get that. We didn't get the Von Strucker twins in these two, which is good. But still, it was a little weird for Namor. I will say that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on these, Justin?
No, I think we covered these quite well. And
yeah.
I'm excited to discuss the next story next time.
Oh, yeah, kids, because, again, next time we're just going to keep rolling, because, yes, we're going to cover Namor the Submariner 4 through 7.
That's right.
Including some guest stars.
Yeah. And John Byrne, in this next few issues, he kind of experiments with his art style a little bit, because I think he inks his own for, I think, most of those issues that we're going to discuss.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, he does something different with his inks that's cool. Yep.
So, yeah, we'll cover those next time, and then in 2 weeks we'll get the Prince Namor the Submariner, the miniseries from 1984 Justin's been dying to get to. So
Yes. My introduction to Namor.
oh my.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
And then, of course, the week after that, the final episode of the month will be Marvel Tales episode 100.
The big extravaganza.
It's all Namor too, kids. It's, like I said, big. Some of his biggest appearances from Marvel Comics #1, Fantastic Four #4, Fantastic Four Annual 1, and Defenders #1. So
Yes, that's going to be a big one.
So yes, Joy, send us your thoughts. You know, Justin's gonna have thoughts on these issues.
Oh, absolutely. Send in all your feedback.
Yes. Come on, Ray. I know you've read these. Come on, send your thoughts.
Yes.
All right. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet he'd like this series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had read this. All right. So yes. So send us your thoughts. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Get your brand new Capes and Lunatics merchandise, your classic Capes and Lunatics merch. Again, deadlier than the Griffin, deadlier than the Mars Twins. Little Hellfire demands that you rain random money on us through the cash app.
That's right.
Link. I'd rather fight the Griffin. And of course, yeah. So yes, please send us random money so we don't have to dance on that metaphorical pole, because who knows what creeps or evil twin brothers are going to be creeping up on us.
Looks like she was just working a stripper pole down at Divas.
And of course, the Patreon, where again you get exclusive, brand new content, uncensored, every month. And of course, if you are a patron like Justin here, you can suggest topics, which Wilf and I will talk about.
Yes. Join me in the Patreon Elite, and you get access to all of the old stuff as well. The archives of Capes and Lunatics Plus.
An entire year of worst superhero movie practice.
Yes.
Where one of our panelists was topless every episode.
Yes. The gift that keeps on giving.
That's right. So, yes, find the Patreon at patreon.com, or you can find everything at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right. Now for this Namor lover. You can find him here every week on Marvel Tales, especially this month. You can find him at least once a month, and that'll be going up on X-Men Classics, as we'll start doing more of those next year. You can also catch him here once a month on One World Under Doom, the Doctor Doom podcast with myself and Russell.
Our newest show.
That's right. I can also catch him over on Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks on We Are the Night,
the Batman podcast.
Talking all things Azrael, and he'll jump in every so often on other Batman episodes. So
yes,
keep your eye out for him. But that is not all the podcasting this gentleman does. The king of podcasting. So Justin, tell them about these other shows.
You can also find me on these fine shows: Gamma Charge, where Russell and I discuss either the Immortal Hulk or the Sensational She-Hulk. We're alternating coverage on those two series currently and having so much fun with it. We also have a Patreon, so do check that out. And over on Predator and Prey, we're covering not only the new comics coming out from Marvel that cover the Predator character from Fox, the Deadly Yautja, but we also cover the classic comics from Dark Horse. And over on the Lost Library of Legends, my solo show, which is still chugging along strong. In October, the end of October, I did a spotlight on a 2-issue miniseries from Marvel called The Legion of Night.
We're going back to the 90s here, bitch. Double biscuits for me.
I can't wait for you to read that one, Phil, and see what you think about that one.
Oh, yeah, I gotta read that.
Yeah, that is some weird stuff. Classic Steve Gerber weirdness.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be weird.
yeah. Fin Fang Foom and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good stuff.
All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Again, next episode, more Byrne Namor.
More Namor-vember.
4 through 7. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All Namor all the time here in November.
That's right.
Uh,
And you can send in your birthday wishes to me.
Yes,
if you like. I
exactly.
really wouldn't mind. Always appreciated.
I think 30 Namor pictures, send them for his
Oh,
birthday.
yes.
All right. come
Yeah,
back
send me
next
your
time.
Namor pics.
Until then, I don't know. Griffin. Oh.